Once upon a time, in the village of Nkala, there lived a young, beautiful girl named Ify. Ify was an orphan girl who had lost her parents when she was just 7 years old. After Ify's parents tragically passed away, her mother's older sister told Ify to come live with her in Lagos, and innocently, Ify agreed because she had no family other than her aunt. The first few days Ify moved in with her aunt's family, everything went smoothly, and Ify even loved it there because her aunt took great care of her. But after a week and some days, Ify's aunt suddenly changed and began assigning Ify chores beyond her age, even though she had older children who were supposed to do the chores.
Ify, why is there no water in this house?
Ify's aunt yelled at Ify, who was sleeping in her room.
I'm sorry, Auntie. I couldn't carry the heavy gallon, so I thought Brother Joe would fetch the water.
Ify said in a shaky voice.
Is Brother Joe your houseboy? Eh? He's almost 10 years older than you, yet you call his name without respect.
Ify's aunt yelled.
I'm sorry, Auntie.
Ify apologized in a teary voice.
Look here, if you know what is good for you. You will go and fetch water for me now. I do not care if you have to use a spoon or plate to fill that drum, but make sure it is full. Otherwise, you will sleep hungry tonight.
Ify's aunt yelled and she walked out of Ify's room. Immediately after her aunt left the room, Ify began to sob because she knew it would take her hours to fill the big water drum, and she was already exhausted from doing chores all day. Without complaining, Ify took a small 4-liter container, which was smaller than the 10 liters she could not carry, and she went to fetch water from a nearby commercial water pump. As she had expected, Ify took almost 4 hours to fill the water drum, and by the time she was done, she was exhausted and weak.
Ify, have you finished fetching water? Oh yeah, come and select these beans for me.
Ify's aunt said.
Auntie, please, I'm so tired. Can I rest shortly and then I'll select the beans later?
Ify said.
Are you stupid?
Ify's aunt yelled, and with that, she gave Ify a very hot slap.
Do I look like your mother? I'm telling you to come and do something and you're complaining.
Ify's aunt growled.
No, you're not my mother, because my mother would never treat me like this.
Ify said in a frustrated, teary voice. Unfortunately, things did not end well for her. Instead of earning her aunt's compassion like she had expected, she got an intense beating.
Naughty girl! Obey rules, eh? Obey rules! Nonsense! Listen to me and listen very well. If you know you will not obey me in my house, you had better pack your things and leave. I will not condone your stubbornness and insults.
Ify's aunt said after beating Ify to a pulp. After her aunt hit her mercilessly, Ify could not stand up from the floor because she was so weak and most of her body was covered in bruises. So she ended up lying there for over an hour before getting up. About a week after this incident happened, something else happened. One morning, Ify was dressing up to leave for school when her aunt stopped her. After Ify moved in with her aunt, she enrolled Ify in a government primary school not too far from where they lived. It was a trekkable distance which Ify could walk to every day.
Why are you leaving for school by this time? It's almost 9:30.
Ify's aunt said when she saw Ify dressing up.
I had to wash some clothes Brother Joe and Sister Cheta dropped for me.
Ify said.
You are not serious at all. It is obvious that you are not taking school seriously, and I will not waste my money on a coconut head like you.
Ify's aunt said.
No, Auntie, I am.
Ify tried to defend herself.
So are you saying that I'm blind, or I don't know what I'm saying? Remove that school uniform. You're not going anywhere.
Ify's aunt said.
Why, Auntie?
Ify asked in a confused tone.
If you ask me why one more time, I will slap you and all of your front teeth will fall out.
Ify's aunt growled.
I'm sorry, Ma.
Ify said in a shaky voice.
Since you will be living with us, you need to start contributing to this house. There's no need for me to continue wasting my money on your education when you are not even taking it seriously.
Ify's aunt said.
Auntie, please, do not stop me from going to school. I promise I will not go late again.
Ify begged her aunt with tears rolling down her cheeks.
You better clean those crocodile tears because it will not work on me. From tomorrow, you will start hawking pure water. That will be your own way of contributing to this household.
I'm going to the market now to buy the container you will need, Ify's aunt said. The following day, just like Ify's aunt said, Ify started hawking pure water on the busy streets of Lagos. Early in the morning, while Ify's classmates and schoolmates would go to school, Ify would have to hawk her pure water in the scorching sun despite being so young. The craziest part was that her aunt had ordered her to sell at least 5 bags of pure water every day, or else she would go hungry to bed that night. It didn't take long before Ify got used to hawking on the streets. Because she was pretty young and had a friendly attitude, she made friends with some other hawkers and became friends with most of her customers. For almost 4 years, Ify continued to hawk pure water on the street day in and day out, while her aunt's biological children furthered their education. Even her aunt's youngest child, who was born after Ify, completed her primary school education, while Ify was still a dropout. The heartbreaking part was that no matter how hard Ify worked, she had nothing. For example, if she sold 5 bags of water per day or more than 5 bags a day, her aunt would take all the money from her. If at all Ify tried to hide some money from her aunt and was caught, her aunt would give her the beatings of her life and still starve her as punishment. There was even one time something tragic happened, and Ify's aunt's reaction shattered Ify's heart. That day, Ify left the house as usual to buy pure water from a cold room where it was usually stored. After Ify and some of her hawker friends purchased the water, they went into the busy roads and streets to start selling. But unfortunately, something terrible happened. While Ify was trying to chase after a passenger in a car who had gotten 2 sachets of water but had not paid, she slipped and fell. Sadly, in the process, her water container and some of the water broke. In addition to that, Ify sustained some bruises on her legs, arms and face.
My auntie will kill me!
Ify cried uncontrollably when she saw the state of the container and broken sachets of water.
No, she cannot kill you. Just tell her what happened and she will get you a new container,
one of the fellow hawkers said.
No, you don't understand. It's not that easy.
Ify said in a teary voice. Luckily for Ify, some of the passers-by who witnessed what had happened walked to her and gave her some money. But at the end of the day, all the money she had was not enough to buy a new container. After hours of contemplating what to do, Ify returned home earlier than usual, but luckily for her, her aunt was not home when she returned. A few hours after Ify got home, her aunt returned and Ify rushed to tell her what had happened. She had figured it was better to tell her aunt the truth before she found out herself.
You must be joking. If you think that I will take my own money and buy you a new container for you to break again, then you are playing.
Ify's aunt growled.
Auntie, please! It wasn't intentional!
Ify begged.
You know what? I don't even have the strength to beat you, and I'm not in the mood. So this is what I'll do. For the next 1 week, you will only drink garri in this house. And if I catch you eating my food, you will join your mother in her grave,
Ify's aunt said. When Ify heard that, she wished that her aunt had beaten her, then ordered her to drink garri for a week. This is because it wasn't the first time Ify was drinking garri as punishment. In the past, she had done something that angered her aunt, and as punishment, she was ordered to drink garri for 3 days, which made her sick to her stomach. Because she had no other family to run to, Ify continued to hawk pure water until she was 13 years old. By this time, she was well known in her neighborhood and had made friends with some grown men who were always nice to her. Among the older male friends Ify had, there was a particular man named Tunde, who she fondly called Uncle Tunde. Tunde was a man in his late 20s who was incredibly nice to Ify. When Ify was almost 11 years old, Tunde learned about what she was going through in her aunt's hands, and he tried his best to help her whenever he could. Many times, Ify's aunt would purposely starve Ify, and Ify would go to Tunde's house and eat. He was always her knight in shiny armor until something happened. As an innocent young girl, Ify believed Tunde was nice to her because he was a good man, but she was wrong. At first, when Ify was younger and her body was not developed, Tunde used to help her from the goodness of his heart. But as Ify's body began to develop, he started nursing ulterior motives.
Come and sit on my legs. I want to show you something,
Tunde said to Ify while she was eating at his house one evening. That evening, Tunde cooked Ify a special meal and invited her to his house. But I have not finished eating, Ify said innocently.
Don't worry, you can leave your food and come. Once you see what I want to show you, you can go back and eat,
Tunde convinced her. Without wasting time, Ify left her food and she sat on Tunde's leg. Unknown to Ify, Tunde was watching pornography, and that was her first time seeing such.
Would you like us to try what they are doing?
Tunde asked in a calm and seducing voice.
But it sounds like she's in pain,
Ify said.
No, she's not in pain. She's actually enjoying it. You know you are a big girl now, and you should do what big girls do,
Tunde said.
So, should we try it? I will teach you how to do the things you don't know,
he added, and Ify nodded shyly. Slowly, Tunde began teaching Ify bad things she should not have known, and as time passed, he finally had his way with her. Sadly, having his way with young Ify led to an unwanted pregnancy, and the worst was that Ify did not even know she was pregnant until her aunt noticed.
I hope it is not what I'm thinking, no,
Ify's aunt said in a suspicious tone when she saw Ify vomiting one early morning.
I feel sick, Auntie.
Ify said in a teary voice.
I think it's malaria. I have been vomiting for the past few days now,
she said innocently.
Ify, are you pregnant?
Ify's aunt said.
Pregnant?
Ify asked in a confused tone.
If you are pregnant, I want you to know that I will not raise a bastard in this house,
Ify's aunt said.
What am I even saying? If I find out that you are pregnant, hey, you will leave my house today,
she added. Immediately Ify heard that, she began to cry uncontrollably, even when she wasn't sure she was pregnant.
No, I'm not pregnant.
You are crying? You haven't seen anything yet and you are crying? If I were you, I'd reserve my tears,
Ify's aunt yelled as she pulled Ify to a nearby pharmacy to carry out a urine pregnancy test. Unfortunately, when the results were out, Ify was truly pregnant. At that moment, Ify knew that her life was over and that her aunt would kick her out of the house without thinking twice. As expected, her aunt kicked her out of the house that day, and Ify was forced to go to Tunde's house.
Ify, what are you doing here? I didn't tell you to come today,
Tunde said when he saw Ify.
My aunt kicked me out of the house, and I have nowhere else to go.
Ify said in a teary voice. Already, it was obvious to Tunde that Ify had been crying, and she looked terrified.
What did you do?
Tunde asked.
I'm pregnant. She found out today
Ify said.
Pregnant?
Tunde asked in shock.
For who?
He added.
You are the only person I have done it with,
Ify said.
My friend, will you shut up? Don't you ever open your mouth and say that nonsense. Do I look like your playmate?
Tunde growled.
But Uncle Tunde, I'm not lying. You are the only person I've done it with.
Ify said in a teary voice.
See me see trouble, Whoa, if this is a joke, you better stop it. They warned me about you, but I did not listen. Now you want to implicate me?
Tunde growled.
Uncle Tunde, please. I have nowhere to go.
Ify said while trying to hold back her tears.
That one is not my problem. Am I your father or even your family member? Listen to me. I don't ever want to see you anywhere near this house. In fact, if you see me on the road pretend like you do not know me. Also, if I hear that you have told anyone I am responsible for this thing, you will not like what will happen.
Tunde said.
Now, I want to close my eyes. Before I open it, carry your bags and get out of here.
He added. Afraid that Tunde would do something to her, Ify picked up her bags and left in tears. Luckily for her, one of her friends, Nneka, who also hawked pure water, took Ify to her parents' house and gave her a roof over her head. In the weeks that followed, Ify tried returning to her aunt's house several times, but she wasn't successful. By this time, her stomach had already protruded and it was apparent she was with child. After several failed attempts to beg her aunt, Ify finally moved on and she began to struggle on her own. Since she was heavily pregnant and could not walk around hawking pure water like she used to, Ify chose to do a different kind of business. With the help of her friends and the little money concerned neighbors gave her, she started a fruit business outside her friend's compound. And she also sold roasted corn, yam and plantain by the side. Unlike other pregnant women who had smooth pregnancies and looked forward to having their babies, on many occasions, Ify wished that she could lose her pregnancy so she would be free. Sadly, that never happened. After 9 months of struggling with her pregnancy, Ify gave birth to a healthy baby girl. After her daughter's birth, Ify thought of abandoning her baby in a church or giving her up for adoption, but she couldn't bear the pain of separating from her child.
Ify, are you sure you don't want to give up Esther for adoption? Look at you. You've barely eaten well for days now, and you cannot even afford diapers for your poor baby,
Ify's friend Nneka said while rocking Ify's sleeping baby.
Nneka, I cannot. I have thought about it, but I cannot do it. I know what I went through during my pregnancy,
Ify said. So what now? How do you plan to survive with your baby? Nneka asked.
Nneka, I will not lie to you. I will do anything for my daughter. Even if not to turn a shower, I go do am,
Ify said.
Even if not to hawk pure water under the rain or sun, I go do am. Na me be this pikin mama and papa, so I no fit abandon am. I hope you are making the right decision. It's not too late to change your mind now,
Nneka said.
Nneka, beg, leave that talk. I no even the reason am. Wetin my eyes don't see for this life, I no fit leave my child for anybody,
Ify said. Alright then. I'm sorry to say, but your fruit and roasted corn business will not sustain you and your child. You need something better, Nneka said.
Something like what?
Ify asked.
Abeg, tell me. I am ready to do anything. Anything at all,
she added. Maybe you can start your own mama put. You fit dey sell the food at night or during the day. The good thing about the food business is that whether you make a lot of profit or not, you and your child will eat every day, Nneka said.
So, do you think the food business will work?
Ify asked. Yes, and if you ask me, it's better than the fruit business.
To me, this is the only way you will be able to take good care of your baby,
Nneka said.
Thank you, my friend. I will think about it,
Ify said. Please think fast. You see the amount of ogi your baby consumes in a week. I don't know how long I'll be able to buy it.
All the savings where I been get, I don't spend everything on top your pikin.
Nneka chuckled.
That's why I said that God will continue to bless you. Chai, Nneka, I don't know what I would have done without you and your family,
Ify said.
Thank you so much,
she added.
You are welcome, my friend.
I want to go out and see if I can make small money this evening. Please, think about what I have said. If you like the idea, then we will try to raise the capital. At least, we have pots, spoons, plates and a cooler in this house, so the other ones won't be an issue, Nneka said.
I will think about it. Since this is my life, I have no choice but to follow it as it is,
Ify said. Alright now, make I dey go. I go see you later, eh? Nneka said before exiting the room. That evening, after the conversation with Nneka, Ify thought about everything Nneka had said. While she was lost in thoughts, her baby woke up and began to cry for food. Sadly, her baby had eaten the last pap in the afternoon, and the only way she could eat again was if Nneka returned home with some money.
This business must work, oh. For the sake of my child, I'll do whatever it takes to make it work,
Ify soliloquized while rocking her crying baby. Sadly, despite how hard Ify tried to make her baby calm, her baby wouldn't stop crying. So she was forced to wrap her baby on her back and walk around the compound. Luckily for Ify, 2 hours after her baby woke up, Nneka returned home with some money, some pap and dry milk for Ify's baby.
Ah, my friend, thank you so much. Hey, now only you I get for this life,
Ify said.
How was your evening? Did you sell all your wares?
She added. You're welcome, my friend. I thank God, oh, my evening was okay. One customer even dashed me money safe, Nneka said.
God go bless am, oh. That reminds me. I have thought about the business and I'm ready to do it. Thank God I have a big body so people will not even know my age,
Ify said. So fast? Nneka asked in shock.
Yes, nah. Did you want me to think about it for a year?
Ify said.
See, if there's a way we can even start the business tomorrow, I am ready,
she added. Calm down. We need capital first now. But first, we have to make a list of the things we need, Nneka said.
Yes, that's true. I will use this weekend and make a list,
Ify said. That's not all. You also need to think of all the different kinds of food you will cook, so you know how to make the list, Nneka said.
My sister, just tell me everything I have to do and I will do it,
Ify said. Okay, we will talk more about it in the morning. I am very tired now and need to rest, Nneka said.
No wahala. Thank you very much, my friend,
Ify said. The next day, Ify and Nneka sat together and they drafted a list of what they needed to start the food business.
Nneka, this is a lot of money. Where will I get this amount of money from?
Ify said in a teary voice. If you are serious about starting, I can talk to my mother to lend you the money, and then you can agree on how you plan to pay back, Nneka said.
Really? Would you do that for me?
Ify said. Yes, I will. But before I do that, you must assure me that you will keep to your word, Nneka said.
I swear on my late mother's grave that I will not disappoint you. Right now, what's most important to me is for my child and me to have food in our stomachs. Once that is achieved, I will focus on paying your mother back,
Ify said. Okay, when she's back from the market, I will go and talk to her, Nneka said. Luckily for Ify, when Nneka spoke to her mother agreed to lend Ify the 50,000 naira she needed. Without wasting time, Ify and Nneka went to the market the following day and bought everything they needed. Then by the next day, Ify started selling her food on the street.
What do you want buy?
Surprisingly, a lot of people patronized her and she made a lot of money in the first week. She cooked and sold a variety of food, which included rice, soups, fried plantain with fried meats and fish.
I cannot believe we made so much money in the first week.
Ify said excitedly to Nneka while counting all the money she had made that week. I'm equally surprised. If I knew the food business would sell like this, we would have started it long ago, Nneka said.
Please help me thank your mother again. Did you see how the customers rushed the soup she made for us? Before afternoon, we had sold out everything.
Ify said, I will. I even need the recipe for that soup so we can make it when she's not around. Nneka said,
Here, please give this to your mother. It's 15,000 naira.
Ify said, stretching the money to Nneka. Isn't this all the profit you made this week? Nneka asked.
No, it's not. I still have about 7k with me.
Ify said. Okay, I will give this to her, Nneka said.
Then this is for you,
Ify said as she stretched 3k to Nneka. No, Ify, I cannot accept this. Invest it back into the business. This one alone can buy us meat for a day or two, Nneka said.
But I just wanted to appreciate you,
Ify said. You have begun repaying my mother, and that's enough for me. You can appreciate me once the business grows, and we can expect a steady profit every week, Nneka said.
Thank you so much, my friend,
Ify said. In the weeks that followed, Ify and Nneka continued the food business, and fortunately for her, the news of her delicious meals traveled like wildfire in her neighborhood, and she gained a lot of customers. To keep her business running, Ify would wake up every morning around 4 a.m. to prepare some things, and by 6:30 a.m., she would have finished cooking. The main reason Ify chose to cook so early in the morning was because most of her customers were people who left their homes in a hurry without food, or people who didn't have the time to cook in the morning. Funnily enough, Ify's competitors would start cooking around 8 a.m., and by the time their food was ready, Ify must have sold everything she had. It didn't take long before her fellow food vendors in the neighborhood began to hate her and say degrading things about her.
See that small girl? I'm so sure she dey use jazz sell.
One of Ify's competitors said to her fellow food vendor.
Chai! You talk too much. How do you know that? The young girl just started her business, and soon people will get used to her food.
The other woman said.
This is the reason I do not like you. You too dull. Can't you call a spade a spade? If that girl is not using jazz, tell me why I have lost all my customers. Yesterday, I had to share more than half of the food I made.
Ify's competitor said.
Why won't you lose your customers when you start cooking by 10 a.m.? Sometimes your shop is not even open by 11 a.m. but you claim you are doing business.
The other woman said.
I knew you would say that. So because I'm doing business, I should kill myself? Look, I didn't come to this life to suffer and die. If I am tired, I will rest.
Ify's competitor said.
That is why you don't have customers. Please, leave that poor girl alone and blame yourself.
The other woman said.
You are saying this because you still have customers. By the time your customers have left you, you will understand.
Ify's competitor said.
There is nothing like that. You are just jealous of her because she is doing what you cannot do.
The other woman said. Indeed, Ify's business was gaining more popularity with every passing day. It even reached a point where people would have to wait for Ify before her food was ready. The people would stand in a single file with their plates while waiting for Ify to start selling to them. Of the different kinds of food Ify sold, the food that sold the most was her special soup, the one Nneka's mother helped her prepare every morning. And Ify was so curious to find out the secret recipe.
Good evening, Mama,
Ify greeted Nneka's mother as she entered her living room one evening. "Hey, good evening, my daughter. How are you and how is the baby?" Nneka's mother asked.
We are fine, Mama.
Ify answered with a smile.
I bought this for you, Mama. It's my little way of saying thank you for everything. If you had not helped me start this business, I don't know how I would have coped,"
she added. By this time, Ify had paid back all of the money she borrowed from Nneka's mother, and everyone from Nneka's house was eating from her mini restaurant. "Really? For me? Thank you very much, my daughter. I appreciate this," Nneka's mother said. "You are a very hardworking girl, and I know you will continue to succeed if you keep working hard," she added.
Thank you, Mama. God bless you. You are like the mother I never had,
Ify said. "Thank you. If you need anything, my dear, please do not hesitate to tell me," Nneka's mother said.
Thank you, Mama. Also, I wanted to ask if you could show me how to make the special soup. People really love it and it's always the first to finish,
Ify said. "Yes, Nneka told me, but the thing is that I can't teach anyone how to prepare it. It's a secret recipe that has been passed down for generations in my family," Nneka's mother lied.
Really? So you can't show it to or teach anyone outside your family?
Ify said. "Yes, you are smart. Also, I cannot show it to Nneka until she's older. If I show it to her, she might tell all her friends, including you. So, for now, let's keep it the way it is," Nneka's mother said. "After all, I am not complaining. If you want me to make 2 pots every day, I will do that because you are like a daughter to me," she added.
Okay, Mama. Thank you so much,
Ify said before leaving. Innocently, Ify believed everything Nneka's mother had said and didn't even suspect anything fishy.
I think this explains why she chases us away while making the soup,
Ify soliloquized.
No wahala. As far as she will keep cooking for us, it's better than nothing,
she added. As time passed, Nneka's mother continued to make the special soup for Ify's business. As usual, whenever she was about to add the ingredients to the soup, she would chase Ify and Nneka away so they would not see the ingredients she was adding. Because of the high demand for the special soup and how fast it sold out, Nneka's mother moved from making 1 large pot a day to 2 large pots, and then she moved to make 3 large pots daily. Most of the time when Ify's customers came, all they would demand was the special soup, and some people would buy more than 1 plate. Some would even buy big bowls and containers so they could store them in their homes. Because of this increase in demand, it reached a point where 3 pots of the special soup would finish before noon, and some customers would have to leave empty-handed.
"Ify, I do not like this thing you are doing, no. For the past 3 days now, every time I come, the soup is finished. You know that your customers really love your special soup, so why don't you cook it in a larger quantity,
The angry customer said.
I'm sorry, sir, but we made 3 pots today and have sold everything,
Ify said.
If 3 pots are no longer enough for your customers, why don't you cook 4 or even 5, You are allowing your customers to take their money away, and that's you losing money,
the angry customer said.
If they keep coming here like I do and there's no soup, they will lose interest over time and will stop coming,
the man added.
Thank you very much, sir. I will try increasing the number of pots we make daily. And please, come tomorrow. I will specifically reserve a plate of special soup for you,
Ify said.
Thank you. I hope to see some improvement around here,
the man said before leaving. After Ify had that conversation with her customer, she felt really sad because she knew Nneka's mother would not make more than 3 pots of the special soup daily. Making the special soup took hours, requiring Nneka's mother to wake up early every morning to help her prepare it. Also, at the moment, Nneka's mother wasn't feeling fine, so it was almost impossible to demand that she make more than 3 pots of special soup in a day.
What do I do now?
Ify soliloquized. That night, after Ify put her daughter to sleep, she was unable to sleep. She could not stop thinking of what her customer had said.
And that man is right, oh. I have even lost count of the number of people who asked for that soup today. If I continue like this, I might lose money and my customers.
Ify soliloquized.
Do I add more water to the soup to increase the quantity after Mama Nneka prepares it?
Ify asked herself.
No, that will only spoil the taste and I might lose my customers.
She answered. That whole night, Ify kept thinking of what to do until an idea crossed her mind.
No, Ify. Why are you even thinking about this? If you hide to see how Mama Nneka makes the soup, you will betray her trust.
Ify soliloquized. But after much contemplation, Ify decided to hide and watch Mama Nneka make the soup, even if it would break her trust. At that point, her business was more important to her, so she had to make a selfish decision. The following morning, Ify had expected Nneka's mother to make the special soup so she could hide and watch her. Unfortunately, that morning, Nneka's mother could not cook for them because she woke up with a high fever and barely had the energy to do anything. This was terrible news to Ify because her customers were so disappointed when they discovered she had not made the special soup. Sadly, that day, she recorded the lowest sales in the history of her business, and this really broke Ify's heart. Thankfully, 2 days later, Nneka's mother was back on her feet again and strong enough to make the special soup. As she had planned, while Nneka's mother was about to start making the soup, Ify left the kitchen. She didn't even wait for Nneka's mother to chase her and Nneka out of the kitchen. She pretended like she wanted to buy something from a nearby store and left. Meanwhile, she had gone to hide in a corner and watched Nneka's mother add ingredients to the pot of special soup. Shortly after Nneka left the kitchen, Nneka's mother added a few natural ingredients to the pot and then she stirred it with a big spoon and tasted it. When Nneka's mother was satisfied with how the soup tasted, she looked around to see if anyone was watching her. Upon confirming she was the only one in the kitchen, Nneka's mother did something shocking that sent chills down Ify's spine. Without wasting time, Nneka's mother pulled down her underwear, squatted over the pot and peed into it. Then she stood up, pulled up her underwear and stirred the soup with a big spoon to mix well with the urine. For a moment, Ify could not believe what she had witnessed. In fact, she was so shocked that she didn't even know when she covered her mouth.
So this is why Mama Nneka does not eat the soup she prepares,
Ify soliloquized, and then she began to scream and call the neighbors' attention.
Come and see her! Help me!
Ify, why are you shouting? Is everything okay?
Nneka's mother asked in shock. Somehow, she suspected that Ify must have seen her, but she tried to keep things calm.
Mama! You are such an evil woman! So this is what you do?
Ify yelled.
I don't understand. What are you talking about?
Nneka's mother feigned ignorance.
Everyone come out! Oh! I have discovered a terrible secret today!
Ify yelled, and Nneka's mother tried to cover her mouth.
Ify, what is it?
Nneka asked as soon as she arrived at the scene.
It's your mother, oh! All this while we thought she was adding a special ingredient to the soup to give it a distinct taste, not knowing it was her urine!
Ify yelled. By this time, most of the neighbors had hurried to the scene to see what was happening.
Urine? What are you talking about?
Nneka asked in a confused tone.
Did she mistakenly pour urine in the pot of soup or what?
She added.
My dear, your mother has been urinating in all the pots of soups and we have been selling them to innocent customers,
Ify said.
Madam, is that true?
One of their neighbors asked Nneka's mother.
I don't know what she's talking about, oh. I would never do such a thing.
Nneka's mother denied.
Mama! So you can also lie! If you say you didn't urinate in that pot, then eat the soup!
Ify said.
Ify, what's the meaning of all this embarrassment? My mother would never do such a thing. Is this how you want to repay us after everything we have done for you?
Nneka said.
My friend, you know I love you, but I cannot keep quiet on this matter. I saw your mother squat over the pot and pee inside it. If she says I'm lying, then let her taste the soup. Mama, please taste the soup so you can prove her wrong,
Nneka said to her mother.
I can't. You know that the pepper is too much and it gives me chest pain.
Nneka's mother lied.
Chest pain? Since when, Mama?
Nneka asked in shock. When the neighbors who had gathered suspected that Nneka's mother was lying, one of them pulled Nneka's mother to the pot and forced her to taste the soup.
Come and taste the soup and prove yourself, Joe.
Immediately after Nneka's mother tasted the soup, something shocking happened. For no reason, she began to take off her clothes and say things that didn't make sense.
I know you like me. Me too, I
right
like you.
in front
That's
of everyone,
like
Nneka's mother ran mad.
Hey, I will dance for you.
She has gone mad, oh.
She done the mad, oh.
No one knew that Nneka's mother had visited a native doctor before lending Ify the money she asked for. To make more money through diabolical means, the native doctor instructed Nneka's mother to urinate into the pot of soup so that whoever tasted the soup would become addicted. That way, she could use their destiny for her business. However, she was also told that her actions could backfire if she ever tasted the soup after urinating in it, and this was why she never tasted the soup after peeing in the pot. Sadly, after Nneka's mother ran mad, every attempt to help her regain her sanity failed. So, she remained mad until she ultimately passed away. As for Ify's business, after the news of Nneka's mother's evil spread like wildfire, Ify's business crashed and she lost all of her customers. Thankfully, Ify had saved up a lot of money, so she moved out of her old neighborhood to a distant location where she opened a small provision shop to help her care for herself and her daughter. The end. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your favorite part in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.